Ever since Mission Impossible leapt to the big screen back in 1996, Tom Cruise and the rest of the production team have sought to provide plenty of thrills and death-defying stunts. Even as the franchise has gone through several changes in director and style, that has remained constant. With the 8th film, The Final Reckoning, Cruise and director Christopher McQuarrie seek to look back at Ethan Hunt's accomplishments and raise the stakes even more. While the need to save the world and put him into wild situations is definitely there, this entry seems to spend a little too much time on techno jargon and calling back to earlier films. For much of the first act, The Final Reckoning surprisingly has the feel of a clip show. We are constantly reminded of Ethan's past adventures with an accompanying clip from the previous films playing on screen. While it's understandable that McQuarrie and Cruise want to celebrate what the series accomplished before, it gets in the way of the story and even comically comes across like one of those sitcom episodes where they say, "Remember when?" and flash back to an earlier episode. The film does present some stakes though, with an AI program trying to launch the most powerful nuclear weapons in the world. So there is some urgency there, but it takes a long time for the plot to kick into high gear. A lot of the script also devolves into frequent technobabble as we're given constant explanations for how to defeat the AI. These scenes lack the needed pop in the dialogue to get past the expository discussions and technical jargon. There is a kernel of an interesting idea when we find out the AI has developed devout followers, which could serve as an exploration for how people are easily manipulated into supporting questionable ideologies. However, the movie does not dive too deeply into that. Essay Morales goes a little too overboard of his villain, mostly having him cackle in an over-the-top manner, and there's not a lot to him. World hopping is a common trait in the Mission Impossible movies, but the locations we're shown are surprisingly uninteresting. A good chunk of time is even spent on a submarine. The action does continue to be a high point in the series, although one underwater sequence feels like it takes an eternity. McQuarrie does bring a bit of energy to certain moments, mostly in the climax. That's when The Final Reckoning provides some thrills and excitement, along with Cruise's penchant for wild stunts and a race against the clock to save the world. It's also when the movie finally makes good use of Hunt's companions. Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning provides some occasional entertainment value, but also makes some creative choices that make this a long sit. Too much of the film seems to rely on callbacks to earlier films, not only through its excessive use of clips, but even how it handles certain characters. While the movie seems to be positioning itself as a grand finale, it won't be the least bit surprising if another sequel is announced in a few years' time. You do get some exciting action sequences here and there, and the stakes show the continuing necessity for Ethan Hunt to save the world, but it takes a while for the needed investment in the mission to set in.